Masters draft and going so far 2-0. Oh man, that's beautiful art. I like that. I wonder if they put in these squirrels, like these actual cards. So I actually wouldn't mind getting some for my actual squirrel deck. It looks pretty badass. Ninja squirrel. Alright guys, so far so good. Let's just wait now. Now we just win the waiting game. That only took 20 minutes. I apologize for this saying 8 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah, I know. I apologize for you know, I guess that's another bad thing when you're streaming and you're playing, aggro weenie decks. I guess it's better playing control decks because you have stuff to watch. But then again, at the same time, like, do you really want to watch like a control deck all day? Like, probably not. I guess that's where single elimination comes in, where like you're playing an aggro deck, by round two, hopefully all the other decks didn't do too well and just get cycled out. Matches, other rounds go by quicker. But it is what it is. We're playing Swiss, we're playing aggro, and there's a lot of waiting associated with that. But on the upside, we are 2-0 right now, and now we just wait for the next round to start. And I'm gonna take a little break here, so I'm gonna leave the game going, showing our deck, and yeah, if you guys ever have any questions, please by all means ask them. And yeah, you're right. I could play some. I could. I'll play a standard match for you guys, like a standard friendly. Let me just take a bathroom break, and then I'll run some standard friendlies until the next round starts. I have a pretty nice 5-color control deck that is actually somewhat interesting to watch. It's more interesting to watch the other control decks, just given the fact that it's 5 colors and a lot of stuff's happening. So I'll run that for you guys right now. 1 second. Hi everyone, I am back. use the bathroom, refilled my beer, and let's see what we got going on. So, turn this off. I mentioned before I went away that I'm gonna run some standard matches for you guys while we wait for the next round to start. So, with that said, I guess I'm gonna do a quick little tech deck with the deck we're gonna be playing. What the time is? I mean, we still got time to kill. Going back to standard. This deck I call the Planeswalker Charms, and it's your control deck. You're playing just 10 Planeswalkers, those are your win conditions, and then just everything else is control slash card advantage. We're playing, I mean, 2 linear are the best. Let's actually do so by converted mana cost here. Go by converted mana cost. So the deck, I've gone through a lot of iterations with this deck, and it's pretty solid now. Like I'm like ready to play this deck in standard tournaments online. Just haven't got around to it because I haven't really had the time. I was actually gonna do it other than this Vintage Masters, but last second I was like, I'll just do Vintage Masters because I've never done it. But yeah, so a little bit about this deck. We'll play two distinct strokes. One, Stein Hopes. This is a great card to play. One, it's more than you ever need in one deck. You draw it early game, get a great counter. Draw it late game, sometimes relevant. Usually you can just cycle it away with a Soul Tide Charm or something. But whenever you counter someone, anything counter anything someone plays with Stein Hopes, like it just stays in their head the whole time because it's just such a mindfuck card. It slows them down for any future games you're playing, which is great because you want to slow down any deck you're playing when you're playing a control deck yourself. And it's just a funny ass card, counter for one, counter only to pay one, and how often other times you not have one to pay. So yeah, we play 4 Magma Jets to do a lot of the early aggro, and the Scry 2 is super relevant with our deck. We're playing 25 lands, so scrying, away some lands is always great. The main charm we look for is Mardu Charm. I used to run, 4 Abzan, 4 Sultai, different variations, and at the end it came down that Mardu Charm, hands down, is the best charm, in my opinion, because all of his modes are usually active in any matchup. The rest of these charms are they're all conditional. However, they're more, in my opinion, more conditional than Mardu Charm. Like, deal 4 damage to a creature. Any aggro deck, you're going to be able to kill a creature with that. A big one is, the Cursor of Kruphix. Put in 2/1/1 soldiers with first strike. Oh my god, against Winnie aggro decks right now, like the big ones, the black and red, it just does so much work. And then against control decks, instant speed duress, so much value. Going back to Abzan Charm, going back to the other charms, Abzan Charm, great card. Really good against mid range aggro, which is pretty big right now in standard. And then drawing 2 cards against control. Distribute 2 1/1 counters. I think I've only used it once out of probably the 50 times I've played this deck and all of its variations. So, but the first 2 are just so strong. Where instant speed removal, conditional at that, but still usually relevant. It's only a few decks where it's not relevant. Like I said earlier, the Weenie decks, like the Weenie aggro, in which case Mardu is really relevant. But drawing 2, that's really so good against control because you don't really care too much against your life points against control. So being able to keep up in the card count being drawn, then that's always really good. And Sultai, I'd probably rank Sultai a little bit higher than Abzan. However, I do run 1 Abzan on my sideboard because against Abzan control, Abzan aggro, Abzan Charm is just so good against that. Whereas Sultai is actually not as relevant usually. There's actually quite a bit of multicolored creatures out there, but against Abzan mid range, like Abzan Sultai Charm, is actually really sometimes really bad. It can sit in your hand for a while. So a big card that's annoying to deal with is Fleecemane Lion, and Abzan Charm deals with it, but Sultai Charm doesn't. And if they get that down turn 2, Magma Jet can't deal with it, and you just dealt with 3 damage early game, where it can really change the course of the game. So moving on to a 4-turn slot. Chant the Pyromancer. It's good all around. Pings off the weak creatures. Gives you card advantage with 0. I've never done 7. I probably never will. Oh man. My apologies. Looks like the next round match actually just started. A little bit faster than what we just saw. Little unfortunate. Man, I was getting hyped playing that game for you guys. My apologies. Maybe I should not have done a tech deck and just played a match. But either way, one bright side is that we don't have to wait that long for the next round to start. We're jumping in right now. So far, we see one planes for our opponent. We have a turn one Cardinal Phage, who's actually really good. Let's just pass the turn here. So I wonder. I mean, our opponent can still, lots of possibilities. Alright, green and white. So now he's playing more of a mid range. I'm guessing. The fact that he's playing green and white, and him not having a turn two play is actually really good for us. Let's attack for 2 here. Okay, so we have 2 options here. We can drop this swamp, play Fallen Ascari, or we can play one of these tap lands, play Cardinal Phage, and set up for another 2-drop next turn. I think I like that idea more. Playing our soft flats here, and then setting up for next turn playing our Banlist Trapper. And the reason I like that more is because I think getting Banlist Trapper down as soon as possible against green and white is actually a way better, idea to go with, or plan to go with, because he's gonna have, usually they're gonna have creatures that are gonna outpower your creatures. In which case you want to have ways to deal with their creatures so your creatures get through. And Banished Trapper just does just that. It taps their creatures and lets your weak / powerful or weak weenies get through. So with that said, let's play Banished Trapper here. And since he didn't play anything else, I guess we just play one of our. Oh, let's attack first, I guess. I guess he could. I don't think there's any flash here for his colors. I mean, he could cycle. But overall, I mean, we're getting him for 4 no matter what. And I think I'm gonna play this scheduled step here as opposed to saving it to cycle, because we definitely want to have at least probably 4 lands is all we need. If we get to 5, then maybe that's too much. But getting a nice variety is always nice. And we'll probably end up cycling away our Baron more. What do you play? Whenever it dies at 14 mana pool. Alright. I mean, that is a stronger creature than ours, like we were talking about. And I mean, luckily, now that we have our Banished Trapper down, we just tap it away. Set it and forget it, as we see on TV so often. That's gonna be our motto. Set it and forget it. Tap him and forget it. So attack him for 4. We're in a really good spot here. It's down to 10. We have 3 2/2s, one with flanking, and a way to tap away his creature with another, removal per se in our hand. Okay, so he's mana ramping here. There's a lot of mana ramp. He's at the same time taking damage. It becomes blocked. It gets 1/1 turn for each creature blocking. Alright, so he's playing a mid-range mid-range deck. That's actually good for us. We can definitely deal with mid-range here. And yeah, we're paying the life. So far, a lot of life paid. Oh man, I've messed up. End of his turn, so I cycled this away. I'll just cycle it now. I guess it doesn't matter now that we saw what we would have drawn. Let's attach this to Suchai. Tap that. And tap away his Jungle Worm. Then swing in. And I guess play a Plains. And then swing in for 6. And now we pretty much won. I mean, he can't use his Ancient Tomb no more, so he's down to just 4 lands again. And one of his creatures is permanently tapped unless he decides to pay the 4, in which case he won't have anything else to play, and we kind of just win. Oh, he does play the 4 here. Alright, interesting. And he just killed himself. Alright. That was a good, quick, solid first win. So, playing another green and white. Well, I guess last one was green blue. So, green and white, I think bringing in Miss Moon